Hi, welcome back to Hostbox CSC channel and back to computer architecture and organization series. The previous session I explained about the DMA, what is DMA and why we need DMA, what are the operations and operation steps involved in the DMA, and why we studied about the what are the importance in the area of computer architecture and organization and so on. Today we are going to continue the topic called processor with examples, just example only. Then buses in computer organization architecture. So bus in the sense we are going to see about the asynchronous and asynchronous very deeply, the timing diagram, and have idea about the clock and so on. Let's go for session today. Today's session definitely helpful to learn the process with examples. Buses where have types called synchronous and asynchronous with deeply what are the operations going on in the synchronous and asynchronous with the timing diagram, and how it will handle the multiple interrupts and so on with the real-time example. So you know today many of them know using the computers with computers or laptop, and you can see in the college laboratories or whatever. So here some of the processor example. Here we are going to study only the general things of the processor. So it's common for most of the processor here. So here today the processor examples is available with the available like the form of dual core processor with the two cores, where you can say shortly Intel Core Duo E8500, and also like AMD Phenom 2 X6 where Intel Core i7 Extreme ED980X and so on. So like that processor will be there. What are the difference mean the speed of the processor, and also you have some specifications are somewhat different. The RAM, when I go and personally purchase these computers or check in the Google, we will get the information about the technical intel information about what are the difference between these Core Duo and so on. So how many, what is the cost, and how many versions will be available. And today modern computers, most of the computers we are coming to the era of technologies where you are using Core i7, i5, i7 and so on etc. Buses. Here processor, main memory and I/O devices are interconnected by means of bus only, and also you know always bus provides communication path for the transfer of data. We need bus means to transfer the data, and also it could include lines to support interrupts and arbitration also. The previous session I explained about the arbitration also. Then a bus protocol is a set of rules. What is bus protocol? Here is a set of rules that govern the behavior of various devices connect to the bus as to when to place information on the bus and when to accept control signals and etc. Here, so bus lines may be grouped into three types. One is called data, another is address, and another one is control. So please kindly check the playlist where you have continuation. And here what is the use of control signals, because it always specify whether it is read or a write operation. So you can do either read or write operation. Then required size of data, when several operand size are possible or not. Then timing information to indicate when the processor and I/O devices may place data or receive data from the bus. So upcoming session we will see the diagrams, where slides you can see the diagram, then you can easily understand all the points clearly. Then the schemes for timing of data transfer over a bus can be classified into synchronous and asynchronous. So remember the bus timing. We have not only bus, we have now about the bus timing. What are the bus timing means? These are the way in which events are carries on the bus, like that. So bus timing is the one where it will say what are the events, which events are carried on the bus and so on with the timing signal. So let's go and study about this synchronous bus. Let's go the paint and small diagram is there. So understanding purpose, please see only the starting of the one. So this is the synchronous bus. So you know in synchronous bus concept we have clock signal where start from 0 and 1, 0 1. You must study in digital electronics also. 1 and 0, again 1, 0 1, again 1, 0, 0 1, 0 1, 0 1. So like that in the clock the data transfer happening like the data unit transfer or data transfer like the start from 0 and again 1, start from 0 again 1, 1 0 1 0 1. So like that the synchronous bus having continuous one where 0 1 0 1 format. That you have to remember about the synchronous bus. Then only you can easily catch the operation of the synchronous bus, how it will helpful like that. So let's see the diagram here. So this is the diagram where timing of an input transfer of an asynchronous bus. Sorry, synchronous bus where bus class will be the 0 1 and 0 1 and so on is called the interval is called clock cycle, and followed by time also is there, and address and command will be there, data will be there, what data you want to show, and also time is equal to T0 to T1 and T1 to T2 and T2 to T3 and so on. So the part of the diagram where just understanding about the synchronous operation, whether going to do the read operation or write operation. So one more option is there, and moreover here the synchronous bus also have follow the master and slave concept. Here there will be a clock signal told no 0 1 0 1 2 3 4 and so on, sir, and address command data, where here master stores data into the input buffer, remember, then slave places the data on the bus and asserts the slave ready signal. Clock and also clock changes are seen by all devices at the same time, and also address and command requesting a read operation appear on the bus. First step is this one, address and command requesting read operation on the bus. So first one, then what happened, the master stores data into the input buffer, then the slave places the data on the bus and asserts the slave ready signal. So what are the instructions from the master, the slave will follow, and all the clock changes are seen by all the devices here, IO devices here, like that. Then so here some points given for understanding. Here once the master places the device, address and command on the bus, it takes time for this information to propagate to the devices. So this time depends on the physical and electrical characteristics of a bus also. Also all the devices have to given enough time to decode the address and control signals, so that the addressed slave can place data on the bus. So what kind of data you want data transfer, the slave will help to do it. Then width of the bus T1 to T0 depends on maximum propagation delay between two devices connect to the bus, and also time taken by all the devices to decode the address and control signals, so that the addressed slave can respond at time T1. That means in particular time, if you want to ensure the operations, it will take particular time, it will respond within the particular time, not more delay. And at the end of, based on the diagram only, you can look the diagram here, see. So here, so we are doing the data transfer. At the end of the time, what happened? Clock cycle. At the end of the clock cycle, at time T2, let's assume this is a part of the diagram. So the master stores the data on the data lines into its input buffer if it's a read operation. Here what is meant by store? Store means what? To capture the values of the data and store them in the buffer. So capture what are the original values of data, because the data and the transfer will happen in the form of binary form only, 0 1 0 1 like that. Whatever there, capture the values of data and store them in the buffer is important. That is the meaning of store. Then when data are to be loaded in the storage buffer system, the data should be available for a period longer than the setup of the device. With the pulse T2 T1 should be longer than maximum propagation time of the bus plus the setup time of the input buffer register of the master. So you may see difficulties when you see these electronic terms closely. Don't worry, we'll go for the real-time example. You can understand. Let's see the example diagram here, where this is the diagram where what happened after the data transfer. So just as the diagram continues here, address and command appear on the bus and data reaches the master. Then that is called TDM signal, and address and command reaches the slave, were seen by the slave, where communication data appears on the bus, like that. So bus clock, address and command, just this diagram. So diagrams important. Try to draw as much easily. Sometimes question asks write the difference between the, or else explain about the synchronous and asynchronous bus timings. You can write this answer. Then here the signals do not appear on the bus, so as soon as they are placed in the bus due to the propagation delay in the interface circuits. And also it reaches the devices after a propagation delay, which depends on the characteristics of a bus also. Then here data transfer has to be completed within one clock cycle. Remember, clock period T2 to T0 must such that longest propagation delay on the bus and the slowest device interface must be accommodated. Forces all the devices to operate at the speed of the slowest device. So when I go through some examples only, you can clearly understand. Let's assume that we are sending the data. That's it. Then don't go very deeply here. Here the processor just assumes that the data are available at T2 in case of a read operation, or read by the device in case of a write operation. What if the device is actually failed and I never really respond or not? The question arises like that. So for these questions only, we are going for the asynchronous now. and most buses here have control signals to represent a response from the slave. So we are thinking, let's assume that we are do the data transfer from source to destination. That's it. Here control signals serve two purposes for the users. Is one is inform the master that the slave has recognized the address and is ready to participate in the data transfer operation. Then enable to adjust the duration of the data transfer operation based on the speed of the participating slaves. So here we saw the example for just participating master and only one slave. Then high frequency bus clock is used here. Why? Because here the data transfer spans several clock cycles instead of just one clock cycle as in the ALA case. You know already, if you want to improve the performance of the computer, what we need a bus as well as the we need a support of clock cycle also. It should be very faster. Within the time the task should be completed. Then multiple cycle transfer for read operation. So if you select multiple cycle transfer for a read operation in this one, what happened? Here the diagram given here. So here clock 1 2 3 4 address command data slave ready. So an input transfer using multiple clock cycles. The first diagram is continuation. Here an input transfer where using the multiple clock cycles. Here see some clock cycles here. Let's go for some points here. Understand here. During clock cycle 1, master send address or command information to the bus requesting a read operation. Then the slave will receive and decode address, command and information. What at the R2 edge of the clock, the beginning of the clock cycle 2, it makes access to the response immediately. And also the data become ready and placed in the bus at clock number 3. Then at the same time, the slave asserts a control signal called slave ready. So remember here it will generate a signal called slave ready. Then the master stops the data to its input buffer at the end of the clock cycle 3. Then the bus transfer operation is now completed. Then the master send a new address to the start a new transfer in clock cycle 4. At last the slave ready signal is in an acknowledgement from the slave to the master here. So simple and easy. We are using the clock signal 1 2 3 4 and so on here. See this is the clock signal 1, clock signal 2, clock signal 3 and clock signal 4 and so on. Here master slave. Let's go for asynchronous bus. Here the data transfer on the bus is controlled by the handshake between the master and the slave, and common clock in the synchronous bus case is replaced by two timing control signals that is called master ready and slave ready. Here when you come to asynchronous bus, remember there is no clock signal. Remember here the stop signal is there. What is my stop signal? Because it is used for transfer the data unit. And what is stop signal? That means a signal control the stop signal is a one where it uses single control signal for each data transfer, and this stop signal according to the asynchronous bus divided into source and destination. Source inside one and destination inside one, and there is no acknowledgement here. Remember, so in synchronous, what happens when you send we are let assume that we are sending the data from source to destination, and destination source communication happen. We don't know whether acknowledgement happen or not. So for overcome these problems, we are going to the concept called asynchronous bus now. Let's say the real-time example. Don't write for example. Suppose a faculty is there. Let's say the example for handshaking. So once again we go for this one. Here two signals. What is there? Master ready and slave ready. Here master ready is asserted by the master to indicate to the slave that is ready to participate in the data transfer. Then slave ready signal is there. It asserted by the slave in response to the master ready from the master, and it indicates to the master that the slave is ready to participate in a data transfer. Then here data transfer using the handshake protocol. Today now we have to know what is handshake. It's a new term, you don't know just now, because if you go networks deeply you can see the diagram again, see the uses of the handshake. Remember, I am saying the real time example, don't write for exam. That is handshake. So handshake we can say example for, suppose I am the faculty, I am asking the question to one particular student, the student can answer the question. That means respond. I am the faculty asking, student respond. So answer something, that is called handshaking. Whenever myself asking question, the student asking means student or any other person. So communication between both sides, that is called handshaking. Here the handshaking happened both sides in the computers, that is called source to destination and destination to source. So in source to destination, what it always uses the always synchronize the bus activities. And also when our source, for example, the source S and D is assumed that. So source is whenever the communication happen, it always sends the valid data. You know the data in the binary format or whatever, binary form or whatever there, the valid data will be there, and like that only. Source destination synchronize the bus activities, remember, and also it have always send the valid data only. Then destination to source. Let's assume that here destination first ask whether they are ready for data or not. Whether you are ready for, you ask the question to source, send the question, that is whether the ready for data accept or not. If there means what happen, then the source respond for the destination and send the valid data now. And moreover, from the source to destination, it will the destination give the acknowledgement that is data accepted. But synchronous, there is no guarantee whether data sending or not, properly sending and receiving or not. Here we will get acknowledgement. That is the advantage of using the synchronous. So now go for the operation now. Before see the operation, see the diagram. So you'll get minimum 2 marks when you go for diagram. So this is address and command, master ID, slave ID signal will be there, and followed by data, that is a data transfer equal to, and followed by the time signal T0, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. So whenever we already told lot of things behind the computers when you operate in the keyboard and the monitor like that. We don't know anything, but how computers work, how brilliantly work and give the answer as soon as possible and accurate. So we are going to do some operations. For example, don't write for exam. We are typing the word or something are doing and save the document. Something what happen in the back side of the one. If at all the bus hardware set following the synchronous mode means what happen here. The handset control of the data transfer during an input operation. It will do like this only. The master slave will be there and follow like this. See the operation steps here. The master places the address and command information on the bus. Remember, just now I told the faculty and student example. And also assert the master ID signal to indicate to the slaves that the address and command information has been placed on the bus. All devices in the bus decode the address. Remember, then address slave performs the required operation and inform the processor it has done so by asserting the slave ready signal, and master at last removes all the signal from the bus when slave ready is asserted. Then if the operation is a read operation, the master also stores the data into its input buffer. So this is diagram. Based on diagram you can write master ready and slave like that. Thank you for I hope that you understand what are the buses in the, what are the example processor examples and what is bus. You know already have idea. Previously I explained also more and many points, and also I told about bus. Today I have idea about what are the bus timings and how synchronous bus do the data transfer and how the operation handled in the data transfer with the help of IO devices. At last asynchronous bus with the real-time example where you can see the how to use the handshake protocol and so on. Thank you for watching, and if you have any queries, please comment in the social media or YouTube channel. And thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and press bell icon for more updates. Thank you.